Hello, and welcome to a second look at those stories. There's a trend sometimes to chase the thing that is new. TikTok comes out and you transfer everything you're doing over to TikTok, but you also did that with Instagram, you did that with Snapchat, you did that with Vine, you did that with Foursquare. You're always jumping from thing to thing, and then the content you make for those sites that fade away is no longer relevant. Maybe you could transfer it over, but it's unlikely. Being trendy is not always being relevant or preparing to be relevant. Let's think about the painter Bob Ross, who had the popular PBS television show. He is still relevant 30 years later, long after he passed, because what he did was timeless. The way that he painted, where he talked to you, he used all the metaphors, it was on a real canvas, it still applies today. Sure, you could go and do the painting on your computer, but it doesn't have the same meditative quality. If Bob Ross had instead been making nature sounds on a synthesizer, his stuff would no longer be relevant because synthesizers don't work the same way now that they did in the 1980s and 90s. But marketers in particular go after trendy. If you're online and you want to know when a trend is dead, just wait for Best Buy or United to tweet about it, and then you'll know, oh, this has now gotten into the mainstream and the adults are trying to be cool. And it's fine to chase the trends. It's just you have to understand, is the effort you're putting in worth what's going to get out of it? Let's say that I make these videos very topical. I'm starting out, I know that my audience isn't that big right now. So if I made this 4 minutes of an in-depth video where I talk about the CDC reversing the mask mandate and I had a t-shirt that said unmasked, that would really only be relevant for a short period of time. People might know what I'm referring to, but maybe not. We don't know how people are going to look back on this time. And so instead, right now I'm standing in front of a very plain wall, and there's almost nothing that could be outdated on my desk at the moment. Who knows, maybe in 5 years we'll be using holograms and this will look really outdated, I don't know. But for now, I'm really trying to make this relevant if you come to it in 6 months, in a year, and in 5 years. I do this because I put a lot of time into these videos and I want for it to be helpful for a long time, but also I only have a limited amount of time. And so I have to think, how do I want to put my resources? I could go all in on TikTok. First of all, I'm too old. Let's be honest. Maybe I could make it work. But that's where the trend is. And the trend will move because eventually the people on TikTok will age up and then something new will replace it. And if you're chasing what's new, you're always going to have to keep chasing that. So is this relevant? I guess you'll have to decide for yourself when you watch it, but it's not outdated in the next 5 minutes.